guys, welcome back. Dynasty Football Live. As always, we're bringing you some heat here, and we're coming at you this week with the NFC North divisional rankings. I'm excited. This is a really good division to me. I mean, I think we all know there's a clear-cut team in here that we all glamoring about, but we're going to see how they stack up. And I'm going to send it over here to my co-host, Manny, to get us started at the bottom with the NFC North. Who you got getting last this year in your Green Bay Packers division? What we got going on here, Manny?
Well, I don't think I'm surprising. I'm not it's not a hot take or anything. I think the Bears are going to be last in this division. Even though they did improve in key positions, I mean, there's a reason why they were they had the number one pick. Well,
yeah, they traded for it.
Yeah, they traded to the Panthers the number one pick, but there's a reason they were picking number one. And even though they did, get some help, especially at the receiver position with DJ Moore, they had Claypool a full year of the offseason. Obviously Herbert and Deontay Foreman and drafted Roschon Johnson. There's some stuff there. Kmet, they got Tanyan from the Packers. So there was some improvement. But for the most part, things are kind of intact. They got Tremont Edmonds as a linebacker, from the Bills, which is a big get because he was an elite linebacker that led the Bills defense for quite a while. Eddie Jackson's still in the back end, as well as Jaquan Brisker, who I really, really liked. I wish the Packers would have drafted him last year. With that being said, I just think there's just even though they did get better, there's a reason they had the number one pick, even though they ended up trading to the Panthers. And I just don't think they made enough improvements to get past fourth in the division, unfortunately.
Okay. Here's the heartbreaker. You want the good news or the bad news first?
If you say the Packers are fourth, you're crazy. But go ahead.
So you want the good news or the bad news first?
Bad news.
Okay, the bad news is your Packers are last. The good news.
I disagree.
Hey, the good news is you can start you can start the development finally of Jordan Love. What we all been waiting for, that first rounder that you said they threw away on Jordan Love, which they did. They should have invested in Rodgers instead of running him out of town. Last place is what they deserve for treating Rodgers like that. Okay, I'm sorry. I know you're a Packers fan, but we can't always agree on everything, okay? When I go through the roster,
that's a pretty hot take if I ever heard one, but go ahead.
I know it's boiling in your brain right now, and I can attest to your fandom, and it's like you saying the Texans are getting last, or they got third, no big deal. Hey, cool, man. I don't want to put your team in last, but I had to when I'm evaluating these rosters. So let's get to it. So when I look at the Packers, I see a lot of fresh new faces, a lot of young talent there. They're looking good. You got your receivers, you got Jordan Love, but who is Jordan Love? Is Jordan Love going to take you to the top? Is he going to be a middle tier? Is he a bottom tier? We don't know. So until you prove me wrong, Jordan Love, you're going to sit last place here in the NFC North. Okay. Now let's get to the running backs. Good running backs. Great running back stable. Love your running back stable, right? You got Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. Quadzilla is going to be running through people. I think it's going to be a close last place. I'm not saying you're going to suck so bad that it's going to be a hat throwing season. You know what I mean? But let's go to the wide receivers. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed. That's a lot of young wide receivers that Jordan Love's going to have to mesh with, okay, to get to where this team can win the division, okay? It's just too much youth, man. They're going to have to develop. Then you go to the tight end position. and you have a rookie tight end, 2 rookie tight ends. Dude, this whole offense is young, dude. It's going to be some growing pains. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. I'm just saying they may not be what you think or what everyone else may think the Packers are used to looking like without Aaron Rodgers back there. Okay, so for me, man, I'm sorry, but the Packers are getting last this year. I'm going to move to who I think is getting third in this division, and it's solely on what this guy brings to the table with his legs and his arm. I got the Bears getting third in this division. I think they improved tremendously in the offseason. They got a new player out of Tennessee to keep Justin Fields from running for his life. Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Jordan Love right now in his career. He's got a lot going on for him. He is a borderline top 5, top 7 quarterback. Okay, like he can get shit done with his legs. Okay, so let's go to the running backs. A little bit unquestioned on the running backs. I think we can all agree that Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, and Deontay Foreman aren't the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? But I think they're serviceable, and I think that they can. I think they can get it done with that running back group. So then we're going to go to wide receivers. This is what separates them from the Packers. Okay, you got DJ Moore, who's been a solid veteran in this league. That's a go-to wide receiver for Justin Fields to hit downfield now. Darnell Mooney will be back at some point. He's shown he's a 1,000-yard receiver, okay? And then you got Chase Claypool, who is Chase Claypool? Who is Chase Claypool these days? Is he a model or is he a fucking wide receiver? No one knows. I mean, we want Chase Claypool to be who we knew he was his rookie year, getting 9 TDs as a rookie. Then you got Cole Kmet, and they brought in Robert Tonyan, and they beefed up that defense. Guys, for me, it's easy. It's the Bears at number 3 here, and that's just I know it pains you to hear me say that, but I rank teams and divisions on how strong the quarterback is, and for me, Justin Fields is just a little bit better at this point than Jordan Love.
Okay. I respect your opinion. I think first of all, I'll say this. I'll rebuttal with this here. Fields is a better dynasty quarterback than Love at this point. He's more of a running back than a quarterback right now.
Yeah,
he hasn't shown that he's a better passer than Jordan Love.
Yeah,
for example.
Well, to your defense, also, we haven't seen who Jordan Love even is yet. So who are we to rank Jordan Love over Fields? I'm not saying Fields is all world either, man, by any means, but I just think I don't know, man. Who would you rather have on the Packers if you had the choice? Would you rather Justin Fields or Jordan Love?
Well, Justin Fields, obviously. I mean, that's
how I look at it, though. Yeah. That's how I think everybody looks at it. Who's got the better quarterback situation? I don't know.
No, I agree. I'm looking more of the overall team supporting cast. Yeah. So, anyways, based on your pick, you're probably not going to agree with my pick. But for me, they have lost too much. And for me, third in this division is going to be the Vikings. And, Kirk Cousins, had a great season last year. He lost Thielen, who's kind of his go-to guy for a while there. He'd throw to him over Diggs for some reason. Still upset about that fantasy-wise. We don't know if he's going to be there next year. They got rid of Cooks. Not saying Madison or McBride or whoever they have on their team, Ty Chandler. I believe in Madison, but Madison right now is not Cooks. Mm-hmm. So right now, the running game may take a hit just because of that. They're not going to be putting, an eight-man front for Madison like they did for Cook, which is not going to open up the passing game how it had been open, and give Kirk Cousins all day to throw or even have Jefferson wide open in the middle of the field just because of the running game. So that from that standpoint, I think they took a step back.
Mhm.
Obviously, they don't have Thielen anymore. They drafted Addison. We know what's happening with Addison right now with the whole, reckless driving, 150 or 40 miles an hour on a 55. That's ridiculous. That's almost as outrageous as betting on football. Like that, this is your career, and you're throwing it away for something stupid, meaningless. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you look at anything after Addison, which I know you're not a huge Addison fan. I'm not a huge, even though he did perform well at Pitt. I don't think he performed that well at USC. Um, so basically they have Jefferson and that's it. I mean, if we're going to be honest here, tight end, obviously TJ Hawkinson. So basically their offense is going to be Kirk Cousins, Madison, Jefferson, and Hawkinson. That's it. Everyone else, there's a lot of questions. Defensively, they have Nell Hunter, who's been hurt here and there. Davenport, who they got from the Saints. I don't know if they got him this year or last year. I honestly don't remember. I hate the Vikings, so I don't care. But, Jordan Hicks, kind of old. I don't know. Their defense is just really old. Harrison Smith, even though he's still a top safety in this league, in my opinion, he's 34 years old. They got safety help with Lewis Seen in the draft. So that's a good pair up with him and Smith. But if you look at their defense, older, not a lot of playmakers. They got rid of Cedarius Smith after he had a great year with the Vikings. There was some kind of disagreement about his contract. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions in key positions, and I think their roster in general just got worse. And I don't know what their plan is for the future. I mean, is Kirk Cousins even going to be their quarterback next year? We don't know. So
Yeah.
for me, and I guess you're shocked based. I don't know. I think you might be shocked, but for me, the Vikings are third.
Okay. Yeah. I think just how I look at it, man. Kirk Cousins, the dude amazes me, man. Like he'll come out and just get it done, man. Somehow he finds himself in the playoffs every year. For me, Justin Jefferson, if you own him this year, you are going to be rolling in points every week because he is going to get peppered with the football this year. I think it's a lot to ask, but I think Madison has shown that he could be, the same thing as Dalvin Cook. I mean, they're almost identical. So I don't think they lost too much losing Dalvin Cook, especially bringing in a running back like Dwayne McBride to back up Alexander Madison. We haven't seen what Ty Chandler can do either. I think there's a lot of question marks behind the running back. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a close second fight between these three teams, man. And for me, it just comes down to the pure, I don't know, man. It's the pure dominance of Justin Jefferson, man. God, the guy is so good. I mean, he's almost unguardable. You got Jordan Addison, and let's not count out the emergence of KJ Osborne. I think he has shown that he could come in and really get the job done. I think that he actually starts the season as the other wideout, opposite of Justin Jefferson, until Jordan Addison, can show that he's ready to play. I think also Jordan Addison is their slot guy. Then you go to TJ Hawkinson, really, really good tight end, man. You're looking at a dominant tight end at sometimes at some man. I played him last year in 1 week, and that fool had like 39 points, man. I was like, oh my God, bro,
That
what
did happen, yes.
is going on, bro? Like TJ Hawkinson just, I mean,
It happened, yes.
he destroyed it last year. So, anyways, my runner up here in the NFC North is the Vikings, and that's just, I think they went last year, and I think they're going to go again this year. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. So you have the Packers, Bears, Vikings.
Yes. Packers, Bears, Vikings. And we know who's winning this division. And if it ain't,
do we know?
Oh, bro, you are going. Oh my gosh! Please tell me that you don't have who I think you have it. Okay, I'm gonna let you do your.
No, I don't have the Packers winning. Okay. They're gonna be a runner-up. I think when we look at their roster, and I understand your concerns with Love. I have those concerns too.
Yeah.
But when I think about what Mike LaFleur wanted to do with Rodgers. It didn't fit, even though Rodgers is an elite quarterback, and he eventually was able to kind of put his own stamp on the offense. The scheme that LaFleur wants to run was not a perfect match for what Rodgers does best.
Yeah.
I think Love, as much as I hated that pick, based on the fact that he's obviously the starter now, I think he's a better fit. I would love to have Rodgers still in this team. Let's not go crazy. But I think he's a better fit for the offense, which wants to run more. I mean, I'm sorry, but when you have Aaron Rodgers and you're running it 35 times a game, like that's just ridiculous. He's throwing it 20 times a game in some cases. Like you're basically, deleting or misusing one of your best weapons or best players. So from that, let me focus back on the defense. But anyways, defense. Kenny Clark, Pro Bowler. Okay. Slayton has been kind of a role player, had an amazing year last year. He's our starting nose tackle. We have Devontae Wyatt, who didn't play a lot last year, but he was a first-round pick last year. And he's looking apparently very, very good and explosive in OTA. So very excited he might break out this year. Preston Smith, the other half of the Smith brothers, he wasn't like, lights out last year, but I think he reached 10, maybe 9 or 10 sacks last year. So he wasn't bad. He just wasn't, like elite, like TJ Watt or something like that. But he was definitely a good linebacker, rushing linebacker. DeAndre Campbell, probably one of the best middle linebackers in the game. Very, very good, sideline to sideline, and definitely in pass coverage, being like 6'4", 6'5". Getting back Rashawn Gary, who was extremely good against the run and the pass. I think our secondary is underrated, even though we have some questions at safety that I personally would have loved if they had gone to, some safety help at some point. They decided to keep, Savage at safety and give Jonathan Owens, I think he played for the Texans last year, a shot with Rudy Ford at strong safety. We'll see what happens there. But they have some really, really good corners with Jair Alexander, Nixon, Rasul Douglas, and let's not forget Eric Stokes, who's also another first rounder. So our defense has, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even talking about, let's not forget this year's first round pick, Lucas Van Ness. But if we talk about just first rounders, okay, I'm not talking about first rounders last year, this year, whatever. Overall, we have like 11 first round picks on the defense side of the ball. So our team's going to go run first and defense. Hopefully some of that strategy comes together. I'm not a believer in our defensive coordinator. I don't know why he still has a job, but they must know something I don't know. But for me, the offense is built a little bit better for Love in the sense that they want to run the ball, move the pocket. Like Rodgers is at this point is not one that's going to be doing RPOs or moving the pocket like he used to be able to run, even though he can still do it. So if for me, and I know I kind of went on a ramble there, but I got passionate after that fourth place pick you had. For me, I think if and I heard, God, what's his name? Anyways, I heard some guy on ESPN talking about this. If Love is an average quarterback or plays the way a first-round quarterback should play, based on what he has around him with the defense, they haven't had a good defense in a while, but they have the potential based on all the first-round picks they keep throwing at it. They make the playoffs. Like I'm not saying they're going to win the division. We know the Lions are their offense going to be tough. Anyways, I've rambled long enough. I didn't say everything I wanted to say in defense of the Packers, but yeah, I think the Packers are going to be number 2.
Here's my thing, and it's no disrespect to the Green Bay Packers. I think they're great, and you guys have been at the top for a while. However, if Aaron Rodgers couldn't get there with the pretty much the same team last year, I don't know how Jordan Love is going to get there, and we don't. It's just I think when you're talking about losing a guy like Aaron Rodgers and reverting to a guy like Jordan Love in his first year, that's a lot to put on a guy who's really never been in the game as far as dude, he's never really been playing because Rodgers has always played. I mean, it's hard to come in and ask a guy to get you to the dance when he's, it's pretty much a rookie. I mean, I'm not saying he's a rookie, but he's definitely had some experience learning from Rodgers. We'll see. Who knows?
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to lead him to the promised land, like Super Bowl. I'm not saying that, and I'm not comparing him by any means to Aaron Rodgers. I'm not. Yeah. But the situation is very, very similar.
Yeah.
And there are some people that did not believe Aaron Rodgers could do what he ended up doing. His rookie year, the team's record did not reflect how good Aaron Rodgers played. Yeah. So I think this year is going to be similar to where maybe they'll be maybe 500 or maybe the same record as last year, or maybe one more win than last year.
Yeah.
You got to remember, young team, but at the same time, all those first rounders, second round picks that Rodgers did not go to training camp with and did not bond to make that connection. Love is doing that. The defensive side of the ball, all those guys have more experience. They're first rounds for a reason. Yeah. I don't like the GM. I hope that he knows something about it, what he is doing for a living. But I think based on that progression of year 1 to year 2, game slows down. He's coming in. I just think as a team, we have a better built team, even though it's young, than the Bears and the Vikings, even with the question at quarterback, just because we're going to be running the ball.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. Hey, guys, we're a couple weeks from preseason now, so we're gonna find out who stacks up where and what stacks up. So for me, guys, Detroit Lions here, they are taking this division by storm. They're done, being bottom feeders, and I think we saw the emergence of them last year. Jared Goff really has been, a surprise for all of us to come almost back to elite status. I like Jared Goff a lot. Jahmyr Gibbs got him a first-round running back. David Montgomery, another solid backup running back there in their stable. I love the running back situation here. It's really, really 1A and 1B. For me, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, just really good. Jameson Williams suspended for the first 6 games of the year. Marvin Jones, the old Lions, coming back to play again here for the Detroit Lions. I still like Marvin Jones. I don't think he's Marvin Jones of the old, but he's all right. They did, however, just trade for Denzel Mims. We might see a little glimpse of him. Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, a lot of mid-tier guys. So, and then obviously they got them a solid tight end in Sam Laporta this year in the draft. And that defense is coming back. Guys, I like the Lions, and I think we all like the Lions and can agree that they are the Lions of this division. So for me, it's the Detroit Lions.
No, I agree. I think the Lions, I think they are going to win the division. I don't know how far they'll get if they do in fact win and make the playoffs. I don't know how far they'll get. It's all going to come down to to the defense and how that group develops, because that was definitely their weak point. Even though they had really good, they had flashes of brilliance, especially from Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he was playing he was playing like JJ Watt almost. And like one game, he had 3 picks, not in one game, but he had 3 picks last year, I think 3 or 4. Yeah. Like, when's the last time you heard of a defensive lineman? Because he wasn't playing like outside rushing linebacker. He was hand was on the ground, and somehow he was able to get 3 picks last year. So I think it'll go as far as the defense goes. They did bring some key pieces, obviously, with the draft, with getting Jack Campbell, who I really love, and I know you like too. And he's an absolute monster at 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds. They got Gardner Johnson from the Eagles last year, or in the draft. They got Brian Brandt. We kind of talked about their draft in a previous video, but they have essentially, but 3 or 4 that could have been first round picks that obviously weren't, but because they were drafted by the Lions. But I really like the Lions. I think their offense is what's going to get them where they want to go. The question for me is the defense as far as going into the playoffs. But I agree with you. I think the Lions are going to be number 1.
All right, guys. Hey, that wraps up the NFC North. I'm pretty sure many wanted it to go a little bit different in my eyes. I wish that the Packers and the Texans could be at the top every year. However, sometimes that doesn't always happen. It will be coming very soon. We'll all see who these teams are, and we all have our opinions here. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the Packers end up, guys. So we're going to get this closed out here. You got anything else before we get out of here, Manny?
I think I've said enough. Second place.
Okay, I'm about to get reprimanded here, so let me get off. Hey, guys, as always, hope you enjoyed our rankings. We're bringing you more throughout the rest of this small off season. We're almost to the finish line here at preseason, so get ready, guys. As always, Dynasty Football out.